Okay, I've got my motor just bolted on here, my standoffs. Everything is just finger tight right now, so I can dry fit everything. I'm going to be taking this off and on, fitting the cow and drilling some holes, so just got everything finger tight for now. Since I've got this on, I got my throttle arm on, and I'm going to go ahead, I got it marked there where I want it, and I've got it marked here for my fuel line to come through, and I'm going to mark that. So let me take this motor off and go ahead and drill them. Alright, I got my holes through here, slot through here for my throttle arm, and it's working good. No binding. I got my fuel line run through here, and it's going to go on good. And I've made a little piece of aluminum, drilled a hole here, and this is going to be my choke. Manual choke. I'll come out here, I'm going to leave it long for now, and then once I get my cow fitted, I'll make a little loop here so I can get my finger in here. The Yak's got a pretty big hole here, so I'll be able to get to it and just choke. Now I'm going to mount my ignition, and I'm going to mount it over here. And so now I'm going to drill 4 holes in here and 1 more here to run my wires through. So let me go ahead and take this motor back off now again, and go ahead and drill these holes. Alright, I got my wire ties through here for my electronic ignition, and I also got some Napa double-sided tape. It's about a 1/16 thick, maybe a little more, and I got a piece here and a piece here, so that's going to be about an 1/8 inch thick, and that'll take some vibration. Just to give it a little bit of vibration. And I've got it so you can come through here. We're double latch here. Put it around there, and then we'll pull this one. So that's secure. I'm going to trim these off. There's just enough room here for my cow. Here's where I drill the hole. If you're doing this, here's where I drill the hole, so you can run your wires through here. The battery wire can go up through there. And this is just a tack wire. I'll leave this one out here for the ignition. So that's on. I got that on, and I've also been messing with the tank. If you're doing this build on your Yak, you don't have to drill this hole here. I had this for the fuel line hole here, but with this tank it was just kinking it too much. So I'm going to come out around and hook up. It was just, and that way I can get to the fuel filter a little better. But this is a fortified tank that 3D Hobby Shop uses. They're good tanks. They're all set up when you get them. You just have to put the hoses on, and I put a little, I put wire ties on them too, just for an extra caution. And I had the yellow one go out to the carburetor, and then this is the fill and drain. I have it run around. I got my fill over here, and this is the vent. It's got no hose on it, and there's the top hose. You want to loop it around. You want to loop it around, and I've drilled another hole in here where I can go out and down and out the bottom. But loop it around so it don't siphon out. So this is ready to go in. I've got the straps ready for strap it in. I got some foam in here for it. But before I put it in, I want to go ahead and fasten these down now. This is the last time that I'll be able to get to these, so I'm going to go ahead and Loctite these in on my standoffs. So let me go ahead and do all that, and then I'll mount this tank. Okay, I've put the motor on again for about the 12th time today. That's the only thing I haven't got Loctite down yet, but I've got my electronic ignition on, got my throttle linkage set up, got my choke set up. We'll be trimming this later. I've got my wires run inside here for I got my fuel line run around and a fuel filter in, and I've still got it so I can separate it here right now. So, because I'm still going to have to take this motor off again once I go fit in the cow. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here. Now, I did put, like I said, I put this Fortitude tank in. It is American made. It's 4 gas, so you're going to want to do that. I've run the vent around the top and then back through the bottom, hanging out here. I might do something with that a little later. I've got the fuel dot in and hooked up so I can get to it and raise it up to fill. Now on this one, I'm going to run 2 lipos and 2 cells. And I figured I had my electronic ignition over here, and I've got this servo over here. So between what they weigh and what these weigh is balancing it back pretty well. I want to go ahead and set everything in here temporary on these batteries and start doing my CG. So I want to start putting everything in. Now I've got the 2200 Gen Ace 2 cells in here. And I'm going to set, next thing I'm going to do is put this, you don't have to do this. You could run your 6-volt battery back the way we had it and be fine. And then put another battery out here for your electronic ignition. But what I'm going to do is run this SCCSK power expander. And I'm going to mount it in here. And it'll hook to my 2 lipos and give me battery redundancy. It also has an Optima kill that I can hook up to kill my motor with my remote. And it fires all the servos separate from these. It's got its own UBEC in here, and it fires the servos separate. And then it fires your receiver separate, so you're really you're not drawing off of your receiver. You're drawing off of this UBEC here, and this one that I'm using here. I can adjust it to how many volts I want to send to my servos. You know, if you had the 7.4 servos or the 7.2, you could adjust this up, but you gotta be careful with that if you got 6-volt servos. But that's my next thing I'm going to do. I'll go through and show you how to do that if you want to use this. So I want to put this in, and I'm going to come back and put my spinner and prop on, and then I'm going to start balancing this thing. I'm going to put her all back together and then just start balancing everything. But I got everything so it fits nice and snug and it's still in there. So let me go ahead and start here, put this in because it's a little bit of weight. And if I have to start, I got some options here if I need a little more weight up front here. I'm hoping that everything's going to be, you know, I know it's going to change from the nitro and everything I've done here. So we're going to start seeing where our balance is and if I can shift the batteries around anymore. I still could put a little more ply if I want to put a little more weight and just strength out here. Or I might even have to add just a little bit of lead, so we'll see where we're at.